Hello,
Hi,
I'm Virginia,
I'm Bianca.
and we are the Tinseltown Twins. Okay, so we are continuing with musicals, but before we do that, I'm gonna just quickly give a recap about social media. Bianca, what movies did you buy this week?
I bought Fred Astaire and Gene Kelly for our musical theme because I love them. Oh, naturally.
I I bought Edmund O'Brien film noirs because it was my turn to do film noirs this week, and I love Edmund O'Brien. Who doesn't? He's awesome. So
Yay!
yeah. Which we gush about him a lot
Yeah,
on the
if
blog.
you
If
ever,
you've ever read it,
yes.
yeah. But so that's what I did. Who was your classic girl of the week this week on Twitter and Facebook?
It was Dorothy Hart, who is awesome, and film noir. If you're a film
Yeah,
noir fan or a Western fan, yeah.
I got Craig Stevens.
Da na 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 na.
That's a song that everybody knows, but I wonder how many people could name the show it comes from, or if they even know it's
which
from
is
a
coming
show.
on DVD soon, and you better believe
The
it.
complete series.
We're excited about that.
Never seen it, but I'm sure
I know, I'm
it's
so
good.
excited. Yeah.
Alright. I mean, if it has that song, how bad can
It
it
has
be?
a score by Duke Ellington. Obviously, I'm gonna watch it.
Oh, it's gonna be right up your alley.
Yeah.
Alright. So let's continue with our musicals, and just quick reminder, you can follow us on Twitter and Instagram and like us on Facebook.
And on Instagram, we constantly keep everybody updated on the movies we buy
Part of
because
our collection.
yes, we talk about our collection and we show photos of our adorable dog.
Yep. Alrighty.
Cinderella will be the first one we discuss, and we already discussed it before for our Disney one. But again, these are quick recaps, so let's just jump right in with Cinderella. It's my favorite princess film of the time. I think the animation is positively stunning.
Great.
It's they really managed to outdo themselves with the sort of fantasy look of it, like almost like it is a fairy tale.
When you say your favorite princess of the time, you mean out of all the princess movies, or out of just early Disney?
Early Disney, or I mean, like I guess if you don't count Beauty and the Beast or like Mulan, because some people say Mulan's a princess.
I have trouble saying that it is. I know some people
she's
do,
not,
but she definitely would be.
But of these kind of classic fairy tale kind of the Grimm brothers, I just adore this one.
Yeah,
I love the little characters. I think everybody's.
I really like the mice.
Yeah, that's the movie.
But yeah.
And I love how Cinderella cares for the little household creatures. It makes her really likable.
Yep.
And that Lady Tremaine, is she a bitch? You hate her. So yeah.
Definitely one of the great Disney villains.
Oh yeah, definitely. You just really, she gets under your case. Oh, yeah. Certainly. Okay, next one is Annie, Get Your Gun. This movie's hilarious.
Yeah, I've seen it. We've seen it a number of times.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't get sick of it just because it goes by really fast, and I just find myself getting sucked in when it comes on. Like, if it's on, even though I own it, if it comes on TV and I watch a couple minutes of it, by by no time at all, I'm at the end of it.
It looks like everybody's having a lot of fun in this movie.
Yeah.
And
I know shooting was kind of hectic.
Yeah, but you would never know.
I was supposed to have it, but yeah, you wouldn't know watching it. It's a lot of fun.
And it's always nice to hear Howard Keel and Buddy Hutton is one of the truly gifted comedians of the classic film era.
Yeah.
We're gonna quickly mention Three Little Words now. This one's, I always say, it's very different from the casual musical biography things because they're always dramatic, because I guess they need to go into dramatic lives. Calmar and Ruby are fun guys. It's a fun movie. It's not dramatic in the least because they just want to kind of, because these guys are known for sort of their funny little innuendo little songs, but
even when they're at odds with each other, it's never serious.
No. It's because it's never played seriously either. And you have Fred Astaire and Red Skelton, and I could never hate either of them. So, and the numbers are good. I think the Calmar Ruby numbers they choose to spotlight are really interesting, essential ones that that they wrote.
I think part of why it works is because they do feel like characters, because they, like you said, they are fun. So like you actually, like, I guess I mean, I guess you can kind of compare it to Yankee Doodle Dandy in that way. How George M. Conahan feels like a character. Like, you know, he feels like someone that you enjoy watching. Yeah. And that's what I feel like Three Little Lords does pretty well.
There's actually some truth to the film, too, because Burt Kalmar did like magic, and he did start out as a dancer, and Harold Ruby was like considered the biggest fan of baseball. So they show that in the film, and that's really what these guys are like. Yeah.
And they actually did marry their wives.
Yeah, yeah, the actual people that play their wives. They're just like, let's create a character.
Let's pretend they had a happy marriage when they didn't. It's not that type of movie.
All right, Summer Stock, the last Judy Garland MGM film, and
mostly known for Get Happy.
Well, yeah, obviously. And then it has the song "You Wonderful You," which is pretty well known too, especially to fans of the Dick Van Dyke Show, because he sings it with Mary Tyler Moore in an episode. But it's again really funny. It has also Gloria DeHaven, Andy Bracken, Phil Silvers. They're always great. So no complaints. And, you know, people often mention how Judy Garland put on weight, and then in the end, when she does get happy, she's at her regular little thin self again. But, like, whatever, who cares? The same thing I say about Mario Lanza. If they sound like that, I honestly do not care.
Good acting's good acting, too, so...
Exactly.
Who cares about that type of stuff? But yeah. Alright, what do we have next?
Royal Wedding. A very big one in the Fred Astaire canon because of the numbers he does in this one, some of his most innovative, especially famously You're All the World to Me, which he does on the walls and the ceiling, a la Douglas Fairbanks Sr. to The Clouds Roll By.
Yeah. When the Clouds Roll By.
Oh my God, Force of Habit musicals, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm a big Jerome Kern fan. Okay, well, with this one, I remember when I first saw That's Entertainment when I was little, and I saw Fred Astaire, and by little I mean 14, around there. I saw Fred Astaire do that number, and I thought to myself, I'm going to see every movie with this man in it. I think I'm in love. And oh boy, yeah. So I owe a lot to Fred.
I've seen this one a lot too. It's fun.
It's a lot of fun. Next is the 51 version of Shobo, and we talked about the 36 one. And I like that one better. I think it's true, and it's definitely truer to the play. Obviously, like maybe this one didn't want it to be as sad.
Depressing, yeah.
I mean, yeah, obviously it is depressing, and nobody wants to.
It's MGM. They're not gonna.
Yeah, nobody's gonna want to see an MGM musical like that. But Ava Gardner's in it, so points there. But she is dubbed. Her wonderful, wonderful voice is dubbed, and I will never get over that because it's she only just agreed to do it because of that reason, and then they went and dubbed her anyway with a voice that sounds nothing like hers, even though her voice is amazing.
She has a very distinct voice. I feel like
exactly.
You can't really get away with dubbing her.
Yeah, or at least try to sound like her even more. It's just embarrassing. But at least you also have Howard Keel and Katherine Grayson, two people who never need to be dubbed in it. And I think they're really ideal in the parts of Gaylord and Magnolia.
Didn't you say that Marge and Gower Champion were your favorite parts of it?
Yeah. We're going to probably get into more of them, but I love Marge and Gower Champion. I mean, obviously, Gower Champion's now considered one of the all-time great stage choreographers and directors, and he has the record for the most Tonys, even more than Bob Fosse. So that's certainly an achievement. But when you really see him in his movies with his wife at the time, I think it's just really. I mean, it's not maybe. You really get to see the Gower Champion that he would later be known for, because he really did these musicals that had an old-fashioned flair to them, like Mac and Mabel, 42nd Street, even Bye Bye Birdie in its way. And so you really get to see that side of him up front, because on the stage he was always behind the scenes, and now you really get to see the classic Gower Champion, like what you see with Bob Fosse. Okay, so. Quick shout out to On Moonlight Bay, which had a follow-up to By the Light of the Silver Moon, which was probably the best of the Doris Day, Gordon McRae musicals. They made several together along with Gene Nelson. And I like all three of them, obviously. I like Followed by Rory a lot too, which she's just in with Jean. But this one is actually really funny. It's Americana. It's kind of like a state fair feel. And there's classic songs of the time period, plus some original ones. So it's just a really delightful little film that I recommend if you're a fan of period musicals. Okay, quick mention to another Disney film, Alice in Wonderland. An underrated one when people talk about Disney films because they never really bring that one up, even though it's a visually it's stunning.
And it's creative. It's, you know.
Because you hear, because they have to animate these things mentioned in the book that are not animated for them.
Yeah, you're right. They have to picture, you know, the wacky world of Wonderland.
Yeah, and Lewis Carroll.
Yeah, not an easy thing to do.
No.
And you can even argue no one else has been able to do it as well.
No, yeah, certainly not.
And there's been many, many attempts.
Yes, and this one's the one that sticks.
Yep.
Next one's a big one. It's An American in Paris, which won the Best Picture Oscars. And it's actually, I think it holds up incredibly well, especially the final American in Paris ballet is probably I think it's the greatest musical number ever put to film, along with Gene Kelly's The Broadway Melody.
Bianca gush about
well, honestly, I'm not going to say anything bad about it.
I know. It's just like, I think it's funny. Every time we talk about this, you're like, but the ending.
Yeah. And they use a Gershwin score and just... And every time I listen to Gershwin's An American in Paris, I mean, obviously I'm thinking of the choreography of this. Even if I try to think of different choreography, this one always somehow comes back to me.
Yeah, and it's such a catchy song. Like, the whole melody is really catchy.
Yeah, and all the other songs they do are delightful, and it was Leslie Caron's film debut. So kudos there for Gene Kelly for discovering her.
Yep.
And now we get to the best musical ever created in the history of film, Singing in the Rain. It's on the AFI list. It's number 5 on there. And I think it certainly deserves that spot. Has there ever been a more delightful, happy musical movie ever created? I love the whole silent, especially if you're a silent film fan, it's an even bigger treat.
I remember, when we would watch this when we were kids. This is one that we actually did watch as kids, not like, 14 kids.
Young,
yeah, and I remember watching it, and during the silent movie sequences, I was like, how can anybody watch something like that? And then, I grew up. Oh, if only you knew how many of those movies you will see. But yeah, thought that was funny.
And Donald O'Connor and Gene Hagen both steal all their scenes. Donald O'Connor is one of my favorite actors ever. I think he's the best dancer on screen. And I think the screen especially comes even more to life, if that's even possible, when he's on. And Gene Hagen has never been better, and she's always good.
Yeah. And I mean, like, how she did Gene Hagen's one of those people that even when she was in a comedy, it's not like she played the funny role, but in this, she actually does get it. Be funny, and you're like, why couldn't she do this just all the time?
She's very Jan Sterling-esque.
Yeah, totally.
And honestly, we have to give a quick shout out to the Broadway Melody fantasy number done with Sid Charisse. And every time Sid Charisse and Gene Kelly dance together, it's really amazing.
My favorite dance and my favorite I think sequence is Moses of Poses.
Yes,
that's probably my favorite.
They really go all out for that one because they have someone to dance with who they could equal.
Yeah.
And you hardly ever see that with the two of them, because when it comes to the two of them, they rarely have an equal.
Yeah.
The only other one they could possibly do that with is like Fred Astaire and maybe even George Murphy. Like when he danced with Fred Astaire, you really could tell there was a equal ability there. But yeah, or even some of the lesser known dancers like Hal Leroy, but you're never going to see like something really like that because you rarely get an opportunity to see two of the best dancers ever dance together.
Yeah. So would your favorite sequence be the Broadway Melody?
Yes.
Would that be like your favorite musical number?
But Moses Pose was always a favorite of mine too. That was always the part I would like to jump ahead to.
Yeah, no, I remember like if you were watching it when that scene came on, I would like whip my head around from the screen and watch. I'm sure I was playing video games or something. I don't know, but yeah.
Now we're going to talk about one we riffed, because we also, as you can tell from the 30s one, we also talk about some films that we riffed.
We also did some, like, one in the 40s, I think.
Oh, yeah. But this one is
another remake.
But compared to the ones of the 30s, it's way better. It's about face.
Well, it's not racist, so
that's what I mean. Yeah. So I'm like, and it's not. It didn't offend me in any way.
Just my intelligence.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't. It wasn't like Lord Byron and Burr where I disliked everyone.
Because I didn't like the characters, but I liked Eddie Bracken.
I was gonna say, well, how could I ever dislike Eddie Bracken?
All right, let's say what we're talking about.
Well, I said about face earlier,
okay,
but maybe they didn't hear me. I don't know.
I didn't hear you. That was
because if you didn't hear me, maybe they didn't. But this one doesn't have any memorable numbers, and I
don't remember a single song.
There's only one part I remember, and that's because Joel Gray's singing it. It's his first.
I remember that part. Yeah.
It's his first film, and he is by far the best part of it.
He steals and he's like the only likable character in it.
Yeah.
But watch Brother Rat instead.
Yes. It's way better. And I think it's well cast too, so it's a big shame that it just all goes to waste.
Yeah, because it's just like, I feel like with Brother Rat, they were like pranksters and everything, but you didn't hate them. Like, they bully people in this movie. Yeah. And like, the one guy, like, we'll talk about it more when we talk our review, but there's an on-running joke that they keep dyeing the hair of, like, their superior, and it wasn't funny the first time. It sure as hell wasn't funny the 6th time they did it. I felt like, and it just keeps thinking that, are they gonna do it? Yeah. Yes, we know they're gonna do it, because this movie has already done it 4 times.
I know. Yeah,
like, it wasn't funny.
It's very predictable.
And it's supposed to be funny that it's a different color each time. Yeah. It's not. I didn't laugh.
No. Kind of made me think that Brady Bunch where they accidentally dyed Greg's hair.
Yeah, I know which one you're talking about. It's not the finale.
It might be. It's a later one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like one of the later bad, like, I know, like, none of the episodes are really good in hindsight, but it's one of the, later crappy ones.
Son of Paleface. Really, really funny one.
Yes.
Frank Tashlin did it, Tish Tash, and
he
can do no wrong.
It is. Spooky. If you're just totally into, like, genre spoofs, if you like Blazing Saddles, watch Son of Paleface. Watch Paleface first, but then watch Son of Paleface.
Yeah.
Not that you have to watch them in order, you totally could go out of it.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter, but, like, I would suggest.
Because this one takes that even further, where there's, like, no, like, just, it's a typical Frank Tashlin comedy where it's, like, a cartoon, as you say. You know, when you think of some of the ones he did with Jerry Lewis, like, it's almost, like, the impossible often happens.
Yeah. I think I mentioned this one. I was talking about, cartoons, and I was talking about Tashlin. I think I mentioned how a lot of historians like to say his cartoons were cinematic and his cinema was cartoons. It
was, yeah.
Because, like, his cartoons are, like, done, like, a camera's there, and it's almost artistic, even though it's hilarious and over the top. But his, his live action is absolutely bonkers to the point that you are wondering if somebody's drawing it. So I think that adds to the
like that scene in The Geisha Boy where he jumps in the water and then he creates a tidal wave.
Yeah,
that's hilarious and it's impossible, but
that's something he would have done in Looney Tunes, and it's something he brings to the screen and he makes it come to life.
Yeah.
So I think that's ambitious, and I like that about Tashlin.
Okay, so another Disney film, Peter Pan. I absolutely adore this one. Because when I was little, I was wanting to be Wendy. A lot of girls want to be Tinkerbell. No, she was a mean bitch. I like Wendy, excuse me.
Tinkerbell tries to kill Wendy.
I know.
Way too many times, and that's comfortable.
Yeah. And I love the depiction of Neverland. It's a really fun little magical place, and Captain Hook is hilarious.
Yeah,
I love villains in movies like this that you could laugh at.
Yep,
like because he doesn't scare children; he makes them laugh instead. Because also
different from the other villains.
Because also it's supposed to be like a game with him and Peter Pan.
Yeah, like it's all fun almost.
Yeah, because none of them ever really get hurt. Like I mean, they don't die or anything. I mean,
no.
So. Because it's a fantasy world,
Pain don't hurt.
Alright, now we get to one of our all-time favorite movies.
This is my favorite. If it's a musical, it's my favorite musical.
It's one of my all-time favorite movies. Absolutely.
It's probably my top 10. Same with you.
I would think so.
Yeah.
Hi, Lily. Hi, Lo. Lily. So I think it's the best performance Leslie Caron and Mel Ferrer ever gave, which is really saying something. They're always wonderful.
Yeah, definitely. This is one of those movies that if I'm having a bad day, it brings me right up. Yeah. I've seen it way too many times, but I don't care.
And you grow to love the puppets the way Lily does.
Yeah, and you grow to love him like in that way too,
because at first you're like, oh my god, get over it, like dude. And then you realize what's wrong with him, and then you realize why he's so cold,
and how complex he is, and how know she comes to learn that, but not through the usual methods, but through his puppets.
I remember seeing Leslie Caron talk about this, and she said Lily at first is just this little idiot, she doesn't know anything, like these things happen and she has no idea, like like Jean-Pierre Armand, he's a playboy, you shouldn't like him.
He even tells you to go back to a pervert just because he doesn't want to deal with
he's not that bad, and you're like no. So but she just has no idea about the world.
Yeah. Because she completely just is thrown into the real world without any, help beforehand, any easing in. She's just thrown into it, and then...
So, of course, she would fall for the first guy she saw, even though...
he's an asshole.
Yeah, because she just is attracted to him, that's all. It's not a real connection whatsoever.
Obviously, she's not really going to notice the limping puppeteer
that's much, mean to her at first. Certainly not.
Who's kind to her
because at first Jean-Pierre was kind of nice to her, even though he's kind of leading her on, like, oh, whatever.
I do this with everybody.
Yeah, exactly. But she falls for a hook, line, and sinker. And now I love the Lily ballet with the puppets too. So you actually do get to see Leslie Caron dance as well, because
it would be sequences.
That would be a sin in a musical.
They're really technically daydream sequences.
Yeah. Because the magician scene too with Zsa and Jean-Pierre Armand. Yeah. I can't name one single bad thing with this movie. Either. It's perfection.
And one of my favorite parts in it is when Mel Ferrer delivers his speech about how he's the puppets that he controls, and
he lives through the puppets.
Yeah, and it's it's so well written, and I think it really dives into his character and who he is, and the character that we do see, and we do get that he is these puppets, but it's not you don't. It might not dawn on you until that exact moment, like, oh my gosh, these are who he is.
And that's what makes her love him, because she loves the puppets, and the whole time she didn't know she was in love with him.
Yeah.
So it's
the best.
Amazing. Yeah. And I would have loved to seen the Broadway version Carnival with Anna Maria Alberghetti and Jerry Orbach. I'm like, I can never accept that cast. I'm like, okay, except for that.
Yeah.
Okay. Next one we'll talk about is Call Me Madame, which is...
Madam.
Yeah, Madam. Which is Irving Berlin, and it stars the amazing Donald O'Connor and Ethel Merman, who had a part on the stage, Vera Ellen, George Sanders, who actually could sing, really got a chance to, but he could, and you'll get to hear it here. And this one makes me very, very happy.
Because Donald O'Connor's in it.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, it's, and I don't know, it's funny, it's just everything you expect from a 50s musical. It's carefree.
It's nice to look at.
Yeah, and you get to see Donald O'Connor with one of his best partners, Vera Ellen, because, aside from Peggy Ryan, he really didn't have a lot of partners that really were up to the Donald O'Connor standard. He didn't have, the Leslie Carons or the Sid Charisas or the Ann Millers, but so you finally got to see him with Vera Ellen, and he said she was his favorite partner along with Peggy Ryan. So that's good. Next one's our favorite Esther Williams musical, along with Neptune's Daughter, Dangerous and Wet. This one, again, this one's really funny too.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, and I think that it's also the plot that really suits her, because it's about her swimming the English Channel, and it's actually thrilling in those moments when she does swim, and I get tired watching it.
Oh my god, yeah.
But it's also enjoyable, and she does a good water ballet with Tom and Jerry in this.
Yeah, she does. Yeah, the songs are delightful as well.
Yeah.
And I love the whole family aspect of it. I love her chemistry with Fernando Lamas.
Her husband.
Her husband. It's this is the Esther Williams film that she's born to be in.
Yeah, definitely.
Once again, we're at one of the all-time great musicals ever made.
We're gonna probably be seeing that a couple times.
This one really, The Bandwagon, which is Vincent Minnelli's magnum opus of musicals, along with Meet Me in St. Louis.
Yeah, several numbers stick out.
Yeah.
Probably the best one being the Girl Hunt Ballet, which is like a parody of film noir.
Yeah, Mickey Spillane in particular.
Yeah, Mickey Spillane, yep.
Like the Mike Hammer
yeah.
books. And it's a Minnelli film through and through. Like, you look at it and you're like, Minnelli, because you see his red, his signature use of colors. It's very vivid. And Jack Buchanan's hilarious in this movie. I was going to mention him too, yeah.
Yeah,
how we not? Yeah, we quote him a lot.
Yeah. He's introduced doing Oedipus. How could you not? Like, I think those characters hilarious.
And you're like, okay, Jack Buchanan doing Oedipus. Okay. It works, whatever. And you get Dietz and Schwartz score, which, interestingly enough, Fred Astaire introduced a lot of these songs in the stage version of The Bandwagon. Like, he's saying I See a New Sun on the stage. He's saying I Love Louisa on the stage. So it's really fun seeing him do these songs that he made popular in the first place. And you get a lot of great songs that they wrote. Like, I Guess I'll Have to Change My Plan, which is our favorite part of the film.
Oh, yeah.
Which he sings with Jack Buchanan. And obviously the very famous That's Entertainment. By Myself, one of like, just such a
that's
great
signature scene. Fred, I feel.
Yes. That's the kind of song that Fred Astaire really brings out his Fred Astaire style, too. And when he dances with Sid Charisse in the Girl Hunt Ballet and Dancing in the Dark, you really get to see something special. They've never been better together.
Yeah.
And once again, it's hilarious.
Yeah.
Next one, Gentlemen Prefer Blondes. Another funny one. These are all so funny.
A pretty big one, too.
Oh, yeah.
Like, this is one, even if you haven't seen, you've definitely heard of it.
Oh, yeah. I first saw this when I was, like, 12. Yeah. It was my second Marilyn Monroe film, my bad. Sound like a hot, obviously.
Yeah.
But I was hitting the jokes, like, went over my head. I didn't know what a sugar daddy was.
Like, I mean, the fact that all the sex is an innuendo, how are you supposed to get that at, a millennial who's 12? Yeah.
And Jane Russell, quite the wisecracker.
Yeah, she's definitely a classic wisecracker.
Oh, yeah. They're just perfect for the roles that they have. It was previously done in a silent version. And I guess it's kind of hard to picture anyone else in these roles, even though it's such a famous book as well.
And not having the numbers to it.
Yeah,
it's like, I know. And not having the bright color. Yeah. It's like, I love silent movies, but that doesn't sound super appetizing, does it?
It would be fun to see the stage version of this, too, with Carol Channing. I like to picture it something like this. And again, this is incredibly colorful, 20th Century Fox in its amazing color, of course. Sorry, I should have picked what we're going to talk about next. Okay, Calamity Jane. We'll quickly mention this one because a lot of people really like this one because it kind of has the Annie Get Your Gun look and feel of it with Doris Day, and you still get Howard Keel, so whoop whoop. And it has Secret Love, which is a really incredibly famous song that she sang. It's fun, it's colorful, it's outdoorsy, it has a pioneer feel, which is interesting always to see in musicals. It's just a rambunctious film that really makes people, I guess, remember because of just how much fun it is to watch. And it doesn't try to be more than it is, it's fun. Like, we're not gonna be dramatic, Okay, Kiss Me Kate. One of the finest, certainly.
Yeah. Every song can get stuck in your head.
One of the best scores of the time as well.
And from this moment on, I don't think was in the show. But it should have been. Yeah. It's probably the best part of the movie.
And they use a lot of the songs from the stage, too, even though not all of them are here.
Like Your Namesake song. Yeah.
Where they sing it incorrectly, but it's easier for stuff to run with Bianca than Bianca. I understand, Cole Porter. That's okay. I love you.
I shouldn't say it's Your Namesake. It's not like you were named after the song. Because then you would be called Bianca, not Bianca. Because I guess more things rhyme with that than Bianca.
My namesake was already born. I was named after my great-grandmother.
Yeah.
And really, really good cast. James Whitmore and Kenya Wynn are awesome in this. They sing "Brush Up Your Shakespeare."
That is great.
It's such a delightful scene because they play really stupid hitmen. So who doesn't want to see that?
Yeah.
And you get to have amazing singers, but also as the Tom, Dick, and Harry roles, you get Bob Fosse, Bobby Van, and Tommy Roll. Now those are three of the finest dancers MGM had at the time, and they certainly get to show off their best work with the amazing Ann Miller.
Yep.
And it was actually done in 3D too, which explains some of the techniques they use in the film.
And it's not in a way that, like, gets annoying. Like,
no.
Like, well, this was clearly in 3D.
Like, fist to the screen.
Yeah. Action coming right at you.
Yeah, exactly. It's like you're from the Black Lagoon, you're like, oh, this is 3D, okay.
Yeah,
well, it's not gimmicky.
That one's not noticeable. And you would think it would be, but it's not.
And House of X does some of that because it was the first one to do it, but it's really entertaining. Like, Paddleball Man, I love that. Okay, Glenn Miller story. I'm a huge fan of Glenn Miller. And it's not very truthful to his life, but whatever. But you get to hear a lot of his great hit songs. But the odd thing about it is Tex from his band, Tex Benek. They, for some reason, couldn't get the rights to his saxophone playing, so you don't really get to hear him. Which is kind of weird because he's such a big part of the Glenn Miller band, and he actually did the tribute Glenn Miller band after Glenn Miller died. So it's kind of odd that with that, because you're thinking, oh, something's missing, and that's it. But other than that, the songs that they choose are the essential Glenn Miller pieces, and Jamie Stewart does a great job as Glenn Miller. He really looks like him too. So. Yeah, that's what I will say.
And they both were pilots in the war, so I'm sure he felt a connection to him. Okay, Seven Brides for Seven Brothers, one of our favorite movies. Regina's like, yes. Yeah, one of my favorite musicals.
Yeah, easily. Definitely. Again, it's freaking hilarious.
Yeah. And I can sing the songs all day. The dancing is the best ever. Like
Michael Kidd, baby.
Yeah, that barn raising dance that they do is a knockout. I could never get sick of watching that.
And you have really good dancers in the cast, like Tommy Wald, Russ Tamblyn, Mark Platt. Very good dancers.
Yeah, and a lot who they got from the stage, and I'm glad they did, because it's not like they, sold out for names just to be in this movie. No, they were like, we need real dancers, and I'm glad they got them.
And like we mentioned, we may be a feminist, but this movie's funny. I don't care. Well, also, it's about these men, like, really being so unaware, like, because obviously this tactic, makes no sense, but they don't know that. They've never been around women, so you can't take it so literally.
Also, I've seen worse. This is nothing.
Are you kidding? Yeah. So we're gonna complain about the fun little movie. But like the whole sobbing woman,
it's
really funny.
It's supposed to be like, that they don't know anything.
They think it worked for these Greek guys like 1,000 years ago. It could work for us. Like, no, why would you think that?
Because they don't know any better.
Yeah. So I think people just take it too literally.
Yeah.
Okay, Carmen Jones. Obviously, we must do a big shout out to this. Otto Preminger, not mainly known for musicals, does this. And it stars Dorothy Dandridge, Harry Belafonte, and Pearl Bailey. So that's cool, as well as a young Diane Carroll. But
Peters, right?
Yeah, he's in that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good cast. But Dorothy Dandridge and Harry Belafonte, it's operetta, and they don't sing opera voices, even though they have incredibly good voices, very recognizable.
They're kind of known for their
singing.
Are, yeah.
They don't get to use it, which is both a blessing and a curse, I guess, because with these operatic numbers, I guess you would want to hear trained opera singers sing them, but at the same time, I want to hear them sing, because it's Dorothy Dandridge and Harry Belafonte.
Yeah.
But I get a stare at Harry Belafonte, so that's good. I'm fine with that. It's good looking film too. It almost looks like a stage play a lot, and yet very cinematic.
Yeah, that's what Preminger I think is really good at. Yeah.
All right, A Star is Born. Judy Garland's best performance, and damn it, she should have won an Oscar.
You can hear us rant all about that on our Best Actress discussion.
And James Mason equals her because he's James Mason.
Yes.
And he's one of the finest actors ever created.
A great Norman Maine.
Oh, yeah. And big shoes to fill. Both of them.
Yeah. And it's being done again. I haven't seen the trailer, even though...
And I do not
even though one of my favorite modern actors isn't it Bradley Cooper.
The favorite one.
Yeah. But I mean, I just I don't know. It's been done a couple times, so if they do, but the thing is, they would have to do something new with it. If it's just like either this one or the one from the 30s
or the Barbra Streisand one, even.
Like, just why even?
Yeah.
So it has to be different. It just can't be the same thing because by that point it'll be tired. But I don't know really enough about it to discuss it because I know a lot of people watched the trailer. I didn't just because I didn't feel like it.
I was like, that's okay.
If everyone says it's great, that's great. But if everyone says it's a disappointment, well then. I'm not going to be all that surprised.
And I think the man that got away is Judy Garland at her best. Has she ever sounded better? Come on.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they had big shoes to fill, but these new guys have even bigger shoes to fill because you have 2 shoes to fill.
Yep. You not only have to do Frederick March and Janet Gaynor, you have to do James Mason and Judy Garland. How?
All right, Brigadoon. This is a really bright, delightful little romp in the heather on the hill.
Yeah. Very good looking color in this movie.
Yes, absolutely.
Like when I think of this movie, I think of like bright colors. Yeah.
And it was supposed to be filmed on location, but it couldn't be because of the bad weather. But I love that the very detailed backdrops they use almost make it have a storybook.
It makes it look like a fantasy, which is what it is. So why not go full? Yeah.
And whoever did the backdrops, talent baby, doesn't get enough credit for it either. And the songs are wonderful. Lerner and Lowe, obviously. I love I'll Go Home with Bonnie Jean.
Yeah, that's a great one. Yeah.
And it's always fun to see Van Johnson be funny. And you get to see him dance too, which he loved doing. Mm-hmm. But yeah, and you get Gene Kelly and Sid Charisse, so how can we possibly complain about that? All right, now the Christmas musical, White Christmas. And I mentioned last week I like this one better than Holiday Inn. I think it makes me happier because nobody's the other man, especially not Fred Astaire, because that's stupid.
She'll never ever let that go. Just so
I love Fred.
That's okay.
As you know. But this one has Bing Crosby, Danny Kaye, 2 of my all-time favorite people, and you have Rosemary Clooney and Vera Ellen. So that's how can I dislike anything with any of those people in it? The songs are great. Irving Berlin songs. Their number to Mandy especially is a great number. These guys are very musically talented too, so you really got to see the best of their talents. And it's funny.
Imagine a movie with Danny Kaye.
I know. Funny. I mean, he's usually
especially doing the sisters number.
He's usually okay. No, I adore that man. Lady and the Tramp. I mentioned in our Disney one. I said who knew that one of the best romantic movies would be about 2 dogs.
Yep.
I love this one. It's one of my favorite Disney movies.
Yeah, it's great.
I love the turn of the century period look of it. And I love the characters. I love the animation especially.
Yeah. Yeah, the animation is great. It has like a real air of sophistication about it. It's a well done movie.
It's like it could have easily been about 2 people, but it's about 2 dogs instead.
Yeah, that's why I often like to say it's like a romantic comedy from the 50s with a turn of the century feel, which was probably at the time done by Disney, because I feel like it could have easily have been, but since Disney did it, he's like, it's two dogs now.
Yeah, it looks like you're right. It is like a romantic comedy of the 50s, like something, I don't know, like Judy Holliday, Audrey Hepburn-esque Paramount film. William Holden.
I was thinking I could see 20th Century Fox, like June Haber and Freddie Mercury.
I'd watch the hell out of that. The married couple, yeah.
That's why they came into my head, but yeah. I just thought, like, 20th Century Fox, June Haber, and she was married to Fred McMurray, so yeah.
They did work together in a 20th Century Fox film, a musical, Where Do We Go From Here, in 1945. Little tidbit. Okay. It also starred Joan Leslie. It's Always Fair Weather. One of the most underrated musicals ever made.
Not rated up there with, like, all the other stuff. I mean, how is it?
And it actually has a good story too.
It does. It has a good story, and you can argue that they should have gone further with it. But for a musical plot, I'll take it. Yeah. It's better. It's way better than you usually get with.
And it's still fun too. Yeah, like they never forget this is also supposed to be a fun film.
And the songs and dances are amazing.
Yeah, it's the best. It's the last film Stanley Donen did with Gene Kelly so tragically.
Yeah. There's, like, a dance on trash can lids, and Gene does his dance on roller skates, which is Bianca's favorite dance from Gene. It's probably mine, too. Out of the ones I've seen.
Which is really saying something. You get used to Charisse does Baby You Knock Me Out.
Yeah.
Dolores Gray does Thanks
a Lot, but no thanks. She gets to play an actual character in
this.
That's nice.
So, and I just love the relationship between the three men in this movie.
Yeah.
How they meet each other again, and they have nothing in common.
And it's an interesting plot.
Yeah, but then in the end they discover their friendship again. Such a heartwarming movie.
Yeah, it makes you feel good.
It does. So, if you haven't seen this, definitely see it. Alright, My Sister Eileen. Quick shout out to this one because I really like this one. And also you get to have Jack Lemmon before he was big, and Bob Fosse before he was big. You have Betty Garrett in a rare film at the time, especially during the Blacklist, and Janet Leigh in a rare dancing film because she could dance. So, and I like this one better than the Rosalind Russell one because that one's more grounded in the stage roots. Yeah. This one really goes more out and really more cinematic, even though there was Wonderful Town at the time, which was a musical version of My Sister Eileen. This is not at all related to that.
What I think of when I think of this movie is I remember, like, there's the dance-off between Bob Fosse and Tommy Shaw, and there's a part where they're, like, jumping in the air where I swear they freeze in midair. I was like, I don't know how anyone can do this.
It's the magic of Bob Fosse and Tommy Rawl. Yeah. Tommy Rawl's really underrated. My God, that guy's good.
Frankincense.
Yep. Artists and models. Often considered one of the best of the Jerry Lewis, Dean Martin ones. It's my favorite one of their films because, again, Frank Tashlin, he really used Jerry Lewis to his best, aside from Lewis himself. And he really has such a colorful, yet gifted comedy look to this film that really makes it both a musical and a comedy.
Yeah, it is funny, as you would expect from Dean and Jerry. If it wasn't, then why? But yeah.
And their leading ladies are Dorothy Malone and Shirley MacLaine, so that's awesome. And Dean Martin sings Inamorata, which is one of his big hits. Guys and Dolls. Ooh. Okay, so obviously a lot of people talking about the behind the scenes, I guess, with
Play did in middle school.
Yes, we did. With Marlon Brando and Frank Sinatra, how they did not like each other. But you wouldn't know it by watching the film. And I said I've mentioned this before, like a lot of people complain about Marlon Brando's voice, like singing. I'm like, he's fine. Like, are you kidding? Like, what did you expect? Did you expect Kenny Baker? No. I think he sounds just fine. I actually really like his version of Luck Be a Lady. Obviously, it's not as good as maybe later Frank's or Robert Alda's. I mean, obviously he's no Robert Alda, but I wouldn't expect Marlon Brando to try to be Robert Alda. But I really like his version of it.
Also, if he was dubbed, it'd be super duper obvious.
It's like what I mentioned with Jimmy Stewart in Born to Dance. He has such a recognizable voice that if you dubbed him, it would have been a laughingstock.
Yeah.
And that's what it's like with Marlon Brando. But I think he really has that kind of look to Sky Masterson.
I might enjoy the camp value of it, but it would just be ridiculous.
But I think he has that Sky Masterson appeal.
He's definitely, like, character-wise, can beat Sky Masterson.
It actually looks like he's having a lot of fun, too. And Vivian Blaine's, great, obviously. because she had the part on the stage as well with Sam Levine. All right, Oklahoma.
Where the wind comes sweeping down the plain. I like this one.
Yeah, it's awesome.
This is one that we've seen a lot. Like growing up, we watched it a lot, and it's yeah, it was just one of those movies I just always was drawn to watch. It's fun.
An all-star cast.
Yeah, the color's great. The songs are so catchy and memorable, and I like.
They actually keep a lot from the stage version too, because not a lot do that.
Yeah, they keep a lot from the stage version, and they, like, I guess, like, did Zimmerman do it?
Zimmerman, yeah.
Yeah. So, I think that...
Not what you would associate with musicals.
No. But, like, yeah, you can argue that it is pretty stage-bound, because it's not like they leave or anything, but I mean, I think that as far as it's concerned, it's still very vibrant.
Yeah,
they really does bring that sense of vibrancy to it.
They really use scenery.
Yeah, they use scenery, and
they're actually filmed on location. They're not in a studio.
The actors don't feel like they are in this claustrophobic space where they are stuck. They feel like they can move around, so I think that helps too.
And you have the great Gordon McRae and Gene Nelson in it. Yay!
All right, and Oklahoma's follow-up.
Carousel with Gordon McRae and Shirley Jones once again.
In another Rodgers and Hammerstein musical.
And once again, obviously the songs are wonderful. I mean, I guess that's kind of obvious. And
the songs feel like, an epic, like they're an epic poem or something.
They actually do forward the story. They actually express the character's thoughts. Which obviously there's a song called Soliloquy.
Yeah, where that's what it is.
My boy Bill, yeah. And if you've seen Lilium, obviously it has some differences. But for the most part, it's amazing how much it managed to keep intact of the classic story. Like, obviously, he doesn't kill himself like he does now when it's an accident. But obviously, it's a Rodgers and Hammerstein musical. They don't want to be like, oh, he killed himself.
Yeah. Tell that to your kids on the way home.
Exactly.
They'll like that.
Yeah, exactly, because children are going to be watching this movie.
People of all ages. They have to keep that in mind.
And I wonder, like, and how many people would look at Lilium, which is this rather sad play, and be like, let's make a musical out of that.
Perfect material for a great cheery musical.
Oh, and I also love the ballet sequence in this one too, just like in Oklahoma, how they have the carousel ballet.
Yeah.
And the studio orchestra does an amazing job with that. And once again, not stagey either. Easily could have been. It is not. Okay, The Court Jester, one of the funniest films ever made because it stars Jenny Kay. Yay! And
it has a great sword fight duel scene that you won't see in a lot of straight swashbucklers. So it's impressive.
And a great supporting cast.
Yeah.
It's one that you can quote over and over and over again.
And many people do and did.
Yeah, we do. No one tells Giacomo to go away, and I love how he keeps going in and out of the curtain.
Because of the
snapping. Yeah. Because who would normally snap that much in a conversation?
Don't you snap at me.
I will snap at you. Okay, so obviously it's thought of more as a comedy, which it is, but it also has some nice songs written by Danny's wife. So, and who doesn't like Danny when he sings? All right. Another big Rodgers and Hammerstein film, The King and I. One of the best looking films of the time. Ever. Yeah.
This movie was made to be in color.
Yeah, it was.
I feel like that's the case with most Rodgers and Hammerstein, but this one especially, because it just pops.
And, especially Deborah Carr. I mean, she was born to be in color. She's radiant in color.
Definitely.
And I think when at this time...
The star of Black Narcissus, you don't say.
At this time in her career, too, late 50s, early 60s, she was at her loveliest.
Yeah.
And you get Yul Brynner from the stage version, and I couldn't see anyone else in this role.
Sure.
He's really funny. Again, we quoted a lot, the et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
Send male elephants out to make babies. We quote that a lot.
Just the males.
Yeah. And... good songs. We Kiss in the Shadow, Hello Young Lovers, Getting to Know You, and obviously Shall We Dance. So once again, we're not going to really be complaining about this movie because there's nothing to complain about.
All right, what do we have next?
The Girl Can't Help It. The Girl Can't Help It. Speaking of Tashlin, one of his big films, one of the big ones, if not the big one, that he did at this time in his career, which stars Jane Mansfield, who he loved using, and Tom Ewell, always wonderful, always, and the wonderful Eddie O'Brien, who we just mentioned how much we like.
Yeah.
The three of them could not be better in this movie.
Yeah.
Perfectly cast. I mean, and there's a lot of great rock and roll singers in this one too.
Definitely. It's one because like we've riffed a lot of the bad rock and roll movies that are just have these rock and roll acts in it. So seeing that it could be done well with something like this that has a plot and it's funny and but yet it also contains these great rock and roll numbers. Because in most rock and roll number movies, the numbers are good, but everything else about it can just, go suck a lemon because it's like you feel like it's clearly an excuse, but it's like why just make it? Can't you just make it a concert film? Why even add all this extra stuff? With this one, you don't. With this one, you don't feel that way. You feel that its plot is enjoyable. The actors
you really care about
great.
you really care about the characters.
Yeah.
They're really likable. And also, I've written about this a lot on the blog, especially when talking about the pop musicals and the musicals we riffed. I always use this as an example of how to do it, because the ones we often talk about, like, a lot of the pop musicals do not know how to do it.
It's a movie that inspired the Beatles, so that says a lot.
And you get Eddie Cochran, one of my favorites. You get Fats Domino, Little Richard, obviously they sing the title tune. Gene Vincent is Blue Cap singing my favorite song. They sing Bebop Lula. So if you love early rock music, totally. If you love Tashlin comedy and you haven't seen this, then what are you doing? This is it's one of my favorite movies actually. So all right, a quick mention to Funny Face, which is again one of the very stunning musicals done at the time period because it's inspired by the Richard Avedon photography. It's even based on his love story with his wife Doe Avedon, who was a model, and you get to see his big model Susie Parker in this movie, the first the supermodel of the time, in the Think Pink number. So big fashion influence in this movie, which is awesome. And obviously you get Givenchy, Hepburn's big designer, doing the work of this film, which I think is why a lot of people like it who love fashion love this movie, because you get to see such a fashion influence. And obviously I watched it the first time I watched it because Fred's in it. That's why I want to watch it. Fred Astaire. And he's not in it as much as I would like him to be. Obviously, he's in a lot of it because he's the main character along with Audrey Hepburn. But I wish he had like a million solos. I mean, I don't know. It's just he has like a couple solos, but I feel like it's not like, I don't know. I just wanted even more of Fred because it's Fred. And we get to another Fred Astaire musical, Silk Stockings, based on the stage play with Donna Amici and Hildegard Neff, which, oh my god, don't you wish you've seen that?
Yes.
And I think this is one of the best of the musical remakes because it actually was based on a stage play. It wasn't written by a team just trying to get a movie based off something that was previously a hit. It's based off
Sinatchka.
Yeah, exactly. Sinatchka. Because you have like the opposite sex, which is a woman, things like that. But this one's the best of the bunch because it actually is based on a Broadway musical. They didn't just create it so we can quickly tag some songs onto it, call it a musical.
Yeah.
Because it actually takes some liberties with the plot. It's not a scene for scene remake in the least, because they include because the Fred Astaire character, he's like Melvin Douglas in a lot of ways, but he's also he works in the film industry, so he's not really. It's more about the creation of a film rather than Ninotchka's coming to check on her comrades, which I mean the comrades are here too. But.
It wouldn't really be Ninotchka without
No. And you get the fabulous Janice Page doing what Janice Page does best. And Cole Porter songs like All of You and Stereophonic Sound, so obviously a must. Okay, Pal Joey with Frank Sinatra, again based off a stage play.
Wasn't Gene?
Yes, he was.
Stage,
That's what made people take notice of him. That's what made him come out to Hollywood.
Right, that's what I thought,
Yeah. And it's been done on the stage again several times. And I love hearing the stage recordings of it. this show. And this movie managed to keep a lot of songs from the play by Lawrence and Hart in to the movie. It doesn't have all of them, and even uses some that weren't in the play. Like There's a Small Hotel. Obviously, that's from On Your Toes. But I'm not complaining because that's one of my favorite songs. But I love Frank in this role. This to me is a lot of Frank, even though he wasn't a cat. Actually, he was an incredibly likable man to woman. But I think the womanizing quality definitely, and you get a scene with Rita Hayworth and Kim Novak, two wonderful ladies. And once again, it's incredibly colorful. Really utilizes its use of color,
mm-hmm.
and it also has quite a bit of sexy jokes. Okay, lay girls. We get to Jean again.
Yep.
This one's really funny.
Yeah. It has a number of memorable dances, mm-hmm. but we especially like Why Am I So Gone About That Gal? Which is like a parody of the Wild One.
Yeah. A whole suit. And he dances with Mitzi Gaynor, so that's awesome. And he also is with Kay Kendall and Tanya Elg, women who actually know their craft as well. So he's not just like, oh look, I'm dancing by myself. He actually gets to work with, some people. And the storyline's really funny too, of the whole on the trial flashback thing.
Yeah.
And it was one of Cole Porter's last scores, because he died like either this year or the next year. So he didn't get he had to have someone work with him to get it done. But it's still when you look at Why Am I So Gone About That Gal, you see that classic Porter signature is still there.
And Gene gets a lot of do in it. He gets to be funny, for instance, like when he pretends he's dying. Like, it's funny.
Okay, The Pajama Game. When we were little, we loved the original soundtrack of this movie with Janice Page.
Our dad had it, so
and John
we would
Ray.
Listen to it all the time, so we know all the songs by heart.
I thought John Ray, I still do, he has one of the best voices.
Yes, definitely.
And it's too bad that actually he and Janice both couldn't be in this film, because it would have been nice to see it almost like the Broadway play, because I want to see the original Broadway play.
Especially since it could just be because I grew up on it, but I feel like those songs were written for Janice Page.
I know. Well, also, I was singing along with the movie, and some of the lyrics had to be changed.
To censor.
Yeah, exactly. So I felt like an idiot singing the wrong lyrics. I'm like, and then you're spending the night with him. Like, she doesn't say that there, obviously.
What did she say?
I don't even remember, because I was singing the wrong words. But we get Doris Day, so I'm not complaining about that part. Obviously not. No. And Bob Fosse did the choreography, because he did the choreography of the show. And Eddie Ford Jr. is really funny, like always. All the songs are good, even though some of them are censored. They're still displayed really well, and especially Hernando's Hideaway. That's a really fun-looking part.
This ain't Poopsie.
Poopsie, where are you? Poopsie. Okay. Jailhouse Rock. One of the best of the Elvis films. I think
pretty famous, I guess.
Yeah. I think this is the best, along with King Creole. The ones that actually let Elvis act, because he's actually a really good actor when he has to play a rebellious man, sort of, which is very in vogue then, the classic rebel James Dean look, Monty Cliff, Sal Mineo. Well, he gets to sing both Jaws Rock and Treat Me Nice, 2 hits. And the numbers are fun to watch, especially the title number where he's in doing it like a TV program.
Yeah.
And the plot actually is actually a plot too. Like trying to make it in the music business and using his con story which is where like in jails where he learned how to write music. So yeah, pretty good. All right. What they often call the grand finale of the MGM musical, and it certainly is. Gigi. One of the, as far as stunning musicals go, this is the most stunning. We're just gonna say that right now.
Yeah.
So this most delightful film, perfectly cast Leslie Caron, Louis Jourdan, Hermione Gingold, and especially Maurice Chevalier.
Yep.
This was his big comeback on the screen. And he gets to sing a lot of delightful songs in his Maurice Ballet way. He gets to talk to the camera the way he used to in his Lubitsch musicals. This part could not have been anyone else but Maurice Ballet.
You swear that even though it was on the stage before that, it was written for him.
Well, the looking into camera parts. Like, I mean, I can't picture them being like, who should play this? Well, I don't know. Maybe like
let's go to bed and think about
it. Yeah, exactly. And the songs, great lineup of songs.
Everybody knows these songs.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I'm not gonna like run through like all them because people know them. And it still continues to be put on the stage, like even recently.
Yep.
South Pacific, another one of the loveliest looking films. It's in like almost a sunset like tint. Again, a dreamlike thing. Especially with the Bali High number, because that song is pretty dreamy. The plot, obviously, it's like dated for the time, but obviously what do you expect? It's 1958. The cast is good, even though they're all dubbed except for Mitzi Gaynor, the main cast, and obviously not Ray Walston because he actually could sing. But at least you get good performances from them, and they're well cast. I mean, these are parts that you can see, like John Carr, Rosanna Brazzi playing, even though they aren't singing the songs. But that's, I guess, with a movie like this where you do need good actors, it seems I'd rather have a good actor than a good singer, because you could easily get someone to dub them. But I guess it doesn't quite live up to its reputation, but it's because
at least on the stage.
Yeah, because that's what I mean. Like the stage one, you feel like that must have been amazing. But they do some cinematic work with it, and where it looks really, really good. So at least it has that going for it. Okay, Damn Yankees. Speaking of Ray Walston.
Yeah.
Based off the Broadway play, which Bob Fosse recreated his choreography. This one was done as almost an absolute recreation of the stage musical. That was really what they were going for. They had the entire cast of the stage except for the lead, because they needed a name. They got Tab Hunter. So, so I really like seeing this, because you think this is what it was really like. I mean, it still has some little cinematic touches that you couldn't do on the stage, but for the most part, like I feel like I'm watching a stage play, which is what I did want from this film, because again, it's such a famous stage play, and you can't see the original one, but you can this way.
Yep.
And the dancing's good, of course.
Yeah.
Tom Thumb, with Russ Tamblyn, a part he would recreate in the wonderful world of the Brothers Grimm. I know, like, you don't get to really see him, but but obviously he's Tom Thumb. And this one gets to use the Puppetoons, just like the wonderful
because
world
George Pal did it.
Yeah, just like the Brothers Grimm movie. And it has Peter Sellers and Terry Thomas in very funny villain roles.
Yeah.
It's really a little magical film that both children and adults would like.
It also won an Oscar for special effects.
I think it did, yeah.
The special effects for the time do look pretty good.
And I love the scene of Russ Tamblyn dancing in the room where everything's really big and he's dancing with the Puppetoons.
If you like George Pal, you'll know if you like it or not, you know, if you've seen George Pal.
Okay, another big Disney one, Sleeping Beauty. Definitely one of their best looking animation-wise films, because it really looks like a painting.
Yeah.
Like, not like an animated film, a painting.
And we mentioned how good we think the climax is, as everybody I'm sure does. Yeah. Alrighty, what's next?
Well, I guess we have to end on a bad note, sorry, but that's the way this is. We're gonna give a quick reference to Born Reckless. On the plus side, it stars Mamie Van Doren and Jeff Richards. On the negative side, everything else.
It's blah. That's
exactly
how I often describe it. It's when I wrote my review to it, I said I have trouble remembering this movie, just because I remember it's one of those movies where you know, the guy keeps putting off the girl forever for no reason. So it's like, what, you know, because
he's like, you're just a kid.
Yeah, Mamie Van Doren's a total dog. So
it's amazing how many for movies the men don't notice her. I'm like, okay.
I don't know why that was a running plot with her, but it's exhausting to the point where you're like, why are you even hanging around? Like, okay.
You don't see them do that with Jane Mansfield. That's exactly what it's like.
It's like, it's one of those movies where it's like, okay, he's a jerk for totally throwing you over, but also, you are kind of dumb for sticking around because there's no reason for you to be here. It's one of those movies.
Oh, honey, move on. You can you can do better, honey.
Just, like, a guy was nice to you once, so you think you gotta marry him? Okay, but, I mean, it's one of those movies
the parts
that could be solved in 2 seconds.
Yeah. The parts where she sings are the best parts because she obviously does, she is, maybe Van Doren, like, does come alive when she sings, even if she's singing bad songs.
She usually sings by herself, so
because she does...
Anything to distract from the plot, I guess.
Because she naturally is very likable, so I just always am upset.
Yeah, she's no Marilyn Monroe, but...
Yeah, she has a very likable quality to her, but I'm just always upset I'm seeing her in bad movies, because, you know, you see her in little roles in Teacher's Pet, and you're like, oh my god, you know, why couldn't you be in more movies like this? But, you know, in the leads, and I guess people didn't want that.
If she wasn't gonna be in Born Reckless, somebody else was, I guess.
Exactly. You might as well get someone good.
Well, that's a forgettable movie.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the only reason we would remember it so well is because maybe Van Doren's in it. Like, everything, if someone else was in it, we probably wouldn't remember it as well.
Alright, so, before we end, let me just pull something. Okay, so before we go, I just want to mention you can see our list for this week. We did a list for top 10 film noir leading men when we each picked our top 10, the top 10 actors we feel define film noir.
For Summer of Noir.
Yes, continuing on with that. Alright, and before we go, movies you can watch this weekend, I recommended Noir Alley's Armored Car Robbery, as did Bianca.
It's one of my favorite movies.
We talked about it a bit at our underrated noir discussion, and I think that if you know you're a total noir fan, you're going to eat this up. So,
and Charles McGraw and William Tallman are in it.
Yes.
And Richard Fleischer.
And Steve Brody.
Awesome. Oh, I love Steve Brody. Yeah. Yeah. It's so fast paced. Like, something's always happening. I love it. All right. And as I was saying, I also recommended Armored Car Robbery, which is awesome. And Anthony Adverse, which Virginia recommended before, but I did not. It's gorgeous, gorgeous film.
Yeah, some might like it more than others, but it's fine too.
As far as, I mean, epics can be, sometimes go on really long. This one does not. No. Even though it's like 2.5 hours long, something, again, it's always doing something. You're always with the movie till the very end. And Frederick March is in it, so you get one of the finest actors of cinema.
Yeah. Okay, so that's it. If you haven't seen Armored Car Robbery, watch it on TCM this weekend.
Please do. It's the best.
Alright, so see you next week.
Bye!